Hey, thank you for tuning in the Inquisitive Minds podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Johnny Smith. Today with me, my guest is a stand-up comedian, also studies marketing full-time at the University of Pittsburgh while working as a patient care representative at a medical marijuana dispensary. I know a pusher when I hear one. In addition, coaches and performs with her all-star competitive cheerleading program, winning dozens of national and world championship titles over the last 15 years. Liz Martin, welcome to the program.
Hi, Johnny. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, thank you for coming on. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I always say like a day sad's a day wasted, so I just try to...
Well, I did not expect that level of positivity already.
Oh, I know. It's sickening, isn't it?
It's beautiful. Since this is going to be coming out on Easter, I'll be putting this out on Easter. I just want to say Happy Easter to everybody.
Oh, yes. Happy Easter to everybody.
Happy Passover.
Yes.
If you don't do anything, happy fucking Sunday, folks.
You know what? It's a day off.
Yeah. So let's just start a little bit. You started comedy in 2019.
Yes.
I remember when you started coming around. I'm not that much, longer than you. I don't want it to sound like that. But, I approached, just comic, cool beans. And then I found out we had a mutual interest. You enjoyed medicine as well. So I was like, cool. And then I found out you'd been like a champion level cheerleader for well over a decade. And I'm like drawn into people that have an extra like focus on the side, like have a passion. So no matter what it is too, I just find it fascinating. Before we get into comedy, before we get into the dispensary, can you tell me a little bit about how you got into cheerleading?
Yeah. I will be honest, it's a ridiculous sport if you talk to anybody that's in it sometimes.
I'll be honest with you. Cheerleading is the one sport that I don't know much, well, not the one, but one of the ones that I don't know much about. Maybe from like pop culture, TV, but I don't know the inner workings. I do, though, believe you guys have a specific level of athleticism that's underappreciated.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I didn't really do like cheerleading in my high school. Like I didn't really do like the football games or anything. I always did what they called like all-star cheerleading, which is almost like a club team. I tell people, I'm like, if you ever like catch cheerleading on like ESPN, like if you're flipping through the channels, that's probably what I'm doing.
So where it's like a big group on the floor.
Yeah.
And there's men, women.
Yeah.
There's people holding people up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, well, then how does one start that?
So I think I was like 8 years old and I danced forever, but I was like a pretty like muscular kid. So like it was becoming kind of clear that like I wasn't like super dancer shaped.
Okay.
I was like really good at it, but it was very clear like it wasn't gonna get like I wasn't gonna be able to do
like
it long term.
You could have been crumping or what have you.
Let me tell you, I got the shoulders of a linebacker. I got to use them.
I feel bad because I was in a roast against Ian and I came after you a little bit.
Oh, you know what? Still one of my I love it because I loved the third round. At one point I went, well, this is just about me. What did I do?
Yeah.
It was so good.
Nothing personal.
Love it. I still talk about it. I still think it's hilarious.
I don't believe any of that, but thank you for patting my ego there.
I do. I think it's so funny.
So you got into it when you were 8. Now, when you got into it, was it with the school, or you said it's outside of it? So it's
a cheer program is almost like a small business, kind of. Like, that's essentially what it is. They get a building. It's usually like an old warehouse, as weird as that sounds, but you need ceilings that are at least 25 feet high to accommodate, like, your basket tosses.
Fair enough.
So it's just, like, usually the most cost-effective place you can do it. And, there's, like, a couple coaches running it, and you have anywhere from maybe like 10 kids to like 200 kids.
Now, is there any type of regulation here? Like when you say a couple coaches, do they have to have qualifications? Is there licensing?
Yes. So I'm going to say probably not as much regulation as there should be.
Okay.
But there is something called the USASF, which is the United States All-Star Federation.
I feel like we are getting ready to turn into the ESPN The Ocho segment.
Oh, I hope I'm friendlier than that. I hope I'm more.
You're good.
Yeah, and then like there's different age groups, different like ages, skill levels, things like that. And then there's like teams within the program. So, there might be like a group of mini age kids, which is like 5 to 8. And
Well, what do you coach?
I've coached kind of everything. I was actually a full-time coach, like running a program for a while. I now just tend to like help out with teams as I see, but I usually I kind of float around. So I help out with like a junior level 2, a junior
I
level
don't know
4.
what that means at all.
I take like the 11 to 15-year-olds because nobody else wants to deal with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, are a lot of these girls in the program that have been cheering or in the dancing for many years?
You kind of get a mixed bag. Some people have been doing it like since they were in a diaper.
Hmm.
Some people, a girl on my team this year, because I'm still throwing people. She just started cheering this year. She's like 23.
Oh,
And she was like, you know what? I kind of always wanted to try it, and she was like, I was always told I was pretty strong, and she's doing a great job. So you kind of have a little bit of everything. It's not so much like how long you've been at a certain program. It's
hmm.
more like, well, what are you trying to do here? So like there are some kids that are like super happy just kind of being on like a lower level team,
Oh, so like just
having
taking a
fun.
boxing class to get in shape type
Yeah,
of.
there's some people. I mean, it does always require a certain level of
Hmm.
commitment, but there's if you're just striving to just kind of hang out, be on a team, go to some
Hit
competitions.
some open mics.
Yeah, kind of that. It's one thing. And then if you're trying to get to the world championships, that's kind of like a different mindset that you have to have when you're doing the sport.
Okay, I think we're getting a little far ahead here. This is very interesting to me. But when you said you started and we were going through that, um, did you fall in love with it immediately?
Um, I think I did. I think it was pretty. It was one of those things where I kind of was like, oh, I'm kind of like needed here. Like I'm kind of good at something.
Okay, gave you somewhere to fit in.
Yeah, and it was also the first thing that never truly came easy to me. Um, I was like a really, really smart kid. I got homeschooled until kindergarten, and I passed like the third grade curriculum test or whatever. I was always really good at dance, despite being, a little awkward shaped by the time I was done with it.
Awkward shaped. There could be worse shapes.
You know what? That's how I have to look at it. But it was the first thing that I was like, I really like this, but I'm not naturally good at it.
Hmm.
I could be good at it. I feel like there is a spot here for me, but I'm actually gonna have to like do something about it. Um, which I think was probably the best thing that could have happened to me, because like truly, like I never studied for a test. I mean, I'll be honest, I got kicked in the head thanks to cheerleading, so now I'm stupid. Don't ask me to do anything. But I was very, I didn't really have to work hard at
Hmm.
things. Like I'm not trying to like sound like a.
It's all right. You can brag on us all. You can shit on us all.
Oh no, here's the thing, it's all gone because I got kicked in
Oh,
the face. So like we're good.
well, you were telling me right before we started about the craziness about cheerleading. Why don't we just jump right into that?
Oh sure. I do tell people that if you ever saw like the show Dance Moms
Hmm.
back in the day, not that far off. Like
Okay.
I've seen some things happen. I will say it's much calmer now. I remember it being um especially like a few years ago when there were really really successful teams in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
Pittsburgh is a surprisingly great city for cheerleading.
Well, I shout out to Point Park University.
Yeah.
When I attended there, apparently they were the #2 school for dance behind Juilliard in the country,
Yeah,
which is surprising because it's a
mhm.
journalism school. I thought.
Right. There's a lot, and then like you have, Carnegie Mellon with like theater and dance
Another
and
surprise
things.
school,
Yeah.
you know.
So there's lots of like that kind of talent around here.
Do you know what was the catalyst that calmed things down?
Um, I will be honest. I think that were a lot of kids that ended up quitting because things were insane. Um, I think Pittsburgh used to have a lot more teams that were doing a lot better internationally. And it's just not necessarily that way anymore. I'm not saying that like Pittsburgh isn't still a great city, to cheer in.
It's okay.
But well, I mean, to
Bless you.
cheer in, it's not bad.
Yeah. I didn't even know there was cheer teams in Pittsburgh.
It's a wild kind of like.
Where do you guys
tiny-
practice? Do you compete in Pittsburgh against each other?
Yeah, my cheer gym is actually like right on Sawmill Run Boulevard.
Okay.
It's like 8 minutes from here.
Really?
Yeah. Like I said, they're usually like in old warehouses, so they are tucked in like the weirdest places. There's one like in McKees Rocks, like almost on the way to Parkway. Shout
Okay,
out to
yeah.
Parkway.
Shout out to Parkway.
There's one. It's next to like a welding
Okay.
building or something.
Because that's not creepy.
Yeah, like they are in the weirdest places, pinching pennies on the rent.
Now, a cheer team, how many people are on it, and what's the structure?
Sure. So you've got anywhere between, I want to say the minimum is like 6 to 36, I believe is the cap.
6 is the minimum.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and they are broken up. There is like a small, medium, and large category. So
Okay,
like,
so it's not 6 going against 36.
right.
Okay.
That would be a little, I'd feel a little
Well,
bad.
the 6
for
could stay sharper potentially.
potentially.
That's only 6 members they got to worry
Staying
about.
together.
Yeah. I could compete in the 6-man.
Definitely.
I'm a good base.
Yeah.
I'm not kicking up though.
Hey, we need bases. There's no age cap on my team. You're more than if you walked on the floor, you could compete.
There's still hope for me, folks.
There
I
is.
might chase a dream one.
You
of
know
these
what?
days.
We'll get you to a practice. I'll get you to.
You know what? You invite me to a practice. I'll come to a practice and I'll
Yeah.
try my best.
Do it. I'm
That'll be
trying to
fun.
get my roommate to come to a practice.
I'll take some pictures. We'll put them on the Facebook page for
Yeah.
Inquisitive Minds.
Hey.
John the cheerleader. I'll take it.
Absolutely.
If we're not cheering for a little brain with question marks on the inside, though, I don't know how I feel about that.
Hey, we can do that.
Now, with the bigger teams, like a 36-member team, captains, one captain, structure of
There's
captains.
no captains. As far as I would say 95% of teams in all-star cheerleading won't have a captain. You're kind of, and even if you do, you're still supposed to be like one level.
Mm-hmm.
That's not always the case, especially like on my team is what they call open age division, which is 16 and up.
So 16 to whatever.
To whatever.
Okay.
I think the oldest on my team is like 25.
Me and Todd are going to come and be bases.
Hey.
We're going to be the power bases of the Pittsburgh team.
We need some bases. Come on in. The uniforms are cute.
All right.
You'll have a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. Now, this is a dated reference, but you being a cheerleader, I'm assuming you saw it. Bring it on.
Oh, absolutely. We have a Clover versus Toros themed practice on Monday this week.
What I wanted to ask was, I guess, the inner workings of a team with the competitiveness. I don't want to use the word catty because I feel like that brings a female connotation, but like bickering.
Yeah.
Is that an element that's present normally?
I think that if your team is not well composed and not well controlled, that is a thing that comes up. I think one thing that is really interesting about cheerleading, good or bad, is you very quickly have to realize that somebody's life is kind of in your hands.
When they're being thrown and whatnot?
Right.
Okay.
It's not something that you can, it's super fun, but it's not something you can kind of just like do half-ass.
Well, what is your role when you're on a team? What is your role?
So if we're talking stunting positions, I'm a back spot. So there's 4 people in a stunt usually. There's a flyer, so that's who you're throwing in the air. There's 2 bases, one for each foot, or, whatever trick you're doing, you usually need 2 people under there. And then a back spot who is kind of just supposed to be more like strength and kind of like controlling everyone else in the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty wild. Now, when did you make the move from actually competing to coaching?
I'll be honest, I remember, I think I was 14 and
Oh, so early.
yeah, I think I was 14 because I'd been doing this since I was 7 or 8. And at that point, I think at some point I just went all in on it. It's
Hmm.
just all I wanted to do. I think I just really enjoyed it. I'm a very like active person, so it was kind of like just always working out with your friends
Hmm.
and getting to look pretty. So I was like, this is awesome. Like this is everything I need.
Now, you did this during high school too, and
Yes.
did that also mean that you couldn't be on the cheer team for the high school? It was conflicting.
There were a lot of girls that managed both,
Hmm.
but I really enjoyed being involved with my cheerleading gym. So I was working at the gym, like teaching tumbling classes
Hmm.
and, helping out with like the tiny teams, I think from 14 on. Um, Unfortunately, cheer is a very expensive sport. So
Oh yeah.
eventually my parents were like, you gotta help us put this,
Mm.
kind of offset this bill a little bit. So
Okay.
um, was working at the gym. I was usually, on my own team. I was like filling in on another team. Essentially, like if somebody gets hurt, you take their spot for
Hmm.
a couple weeks, and then when they're done, they'll get it back. I was doing that for teams.
Now,
Um,
do you do like cardio and whatnot? Like, is there physical training before you guys practice your drills and whatnot? How does a
yeah.
practice run?
So cheerleading is actually like a year-round sport.
Hmm.
So you do a lot of like conditioning, cardio, and stuff from the months of like May until about August. You're doing a lot of conditioning every practice. And then once you get your routine for the season,
Hmm.
you start practicing that. So you start using all of that conditioning you've
Hmm.
been using or been getting. And then you're doing less conditioning, but you're doing more reps of the routine and things like that.
Okay.
So it's usually like a quick warm up at a practice, and then like you're into just running your routine, your stunts, cleaning it up.
Now you made a joke about getting kicked in the head, but that's pretty serious. Can you tell me about that a little bit?
Yeah, I got a pretty severe TBI February of 2015.
Traumatic brain injury.
Yes, I threw a girl in the air and she did a backflip, and I went to go catch her, and something just didn't go quite right. Got the whole sole of her shoe to my temple, and there was like a video of this because there were security cameras in the
Hmm.
gym. You see like my feet leave the ground
Oh.
and then my neck hit first.
Oh.
So I went from being like this straight A honors AP student to not being able to read the title of a Dr. Seuss book. In
So has it long-term effects on your cognitive function?
Yes, that the injury is actually what kind of sparked my interest in medical marijuana in the first place.
Okay.
I have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I have like permanent
You know,
spinal
you know
cord
what?
damage.
Before you go any further,
Yeah,
I'm not too sure exactly what fibromyalgia is. Can you explain that? Because I've,
yeah,
I've always heard it. I just.
yeah. So it's essentially if you have any kind of like nervous system damage, spinal cord damage, or really just any like really traumatic head injury or anything like that. If there's any problems permanently, if your brain is having trouble, kind of readjusting
Hmm.
to life, it can cause chronic pain, insomnia. It can throw off your appetite. It can throw off like your actual hormones.
Hmm.
Um, and when that happens, that's when you have fibromyalgia.
Okay. Okay. So you have fibromyalgia that got you. You were saying other things you were diagnosed with, and that's what got you into medical marijuana.
Yeah, and I remember I had done 6 doctor's appointments a week for 18 months.
When was this, by the way?
This was like my junior and senior year of high school.
Okay.
So I was, pretty much missing school most of the time, just trying to do what work I could. But I think this might have been, I'd slowed down on some of the therapies, but it was kind of clear that I wasn't really making any more progress.
Hmm.
And then probably around like the end of my freshman year of college,
Hmm.
a doctor had actually said to me, you're kind of plateauing here. You should probably just prepare to live your life the way you are now.
Okay. Maybe I don't fully understand. I guess outside of like you say reading the title of a Dr. Seuss book. Can you just walk us through what was different before and after?
Yeah. I definitely do not have a super great memory anymore. I have a lot of problems with like short-term memory. I
Hmm.
have a trouble like picking up on things. I developed. I was tested for ADHD and OCD like as an adult,
Hmm.
and ended up having both of those. So it's also like really impacted like my mental health. So I ended up like I've done a lot of programs through Western Psych and things like that. Just like permanently, got some aches and pains and things that
Has it adjusted your personality at all?
absolutely. I tell this is gonna sound really bad.
Hmm.
Before the injury, I had no personality and a stick up my ass. Like truly. I was so boring. All I did was school and cheer, and there was nothing, there was really nothing to me.
Okay.
And I mean, nothing will humble you like getting stupid, to put it very bluntly. But, just kind of having that perspective on life, kind of realizing that, I'm doing what I want to do,
Hmm.
and I,
That's the best feeling, isn't it?
it is. And genuinely, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I am 1,000 times happier. Um,
Well, that's what's up. I don't know you pre-stick up your ass, but you seem like a nice enough person.
oh, thank you.
Um, that was I meant to endorse you more,
I
but that sounded
appreciate
so
it.
like lackluster.
You know what? That's all right.
So your freshman year of college, you're talking to this doctor. He says you're gonna just this is it. This is lit.
Yeah.
So that took you down the path of medical marijuana.
Yeah, because I said, you know what? I'm not. I said, I don't know if I'm okay with that. Like, I think I need to feel better than I feel right now. I was still, I barely, had a sleep, barely had like a sleeping routine
Mm-hmm.
in check. I, was getting diagnosed with like weird food allergies all of a sudden. Like, it just, nothing was really helping. Like, even my joints were like swollen all the time, and like nobody could tell me why.
Hmm. That's
And
very odd.
yeah, like things that like a 20-year-old should not be dealing with. And I said, I'm in pain all the time and I kind of feel like garbage. Like I got to do something.
Welcome to being over 30.
Like I was like, you know what? I got to do something here.
I'm in
Like
pain all the time and I feel like garbage. It's just a Thursday.
right? But I was like, I was like, I don't think that's it. I think there's probably something else I can be trying, or at least things I can incorporate into my daily life
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
feel better. And they were like, well, I mean, if nothing else works, we can give you some oxy. And I was
That's
like,
a very dangerous statement.
that sounds like a really bad idea,
Mm-hmm.
sir. I don't like that. And, I was pretty, and I said, is there any, like, really, that's it? And he was like, I just don't know, what other therapies we can be giving you. And I was like, okay.
Did you try any holistic routes, acupuncture, yoga, anything like
Not
that? Not
until
saying it's a
after.
cure-all.
Yeah, not until after. I'm actually those are things that I'm doing now,
Okay.
to kind of but those are all things I've been introduced to kind of after kind of going down that first rabbit hole of
Mhm.
like so what kind of just googling like treatments and that was one that came up and I will be honest, I really enjoy reading and I read a lot of medical journals. I read a lot of articles about it.
So outside of the inflammation
Mhm.
going down in your joints, which
Mhm.
marijuana directly helps with,
Yes.
what other benefits did you receive from it?
I genuinely tell everybody it turned my life like a 180. Like I I have like different like strains I'll use for different things. I am on a lot of antidepressants and things,
Mm-hmm.
so my ADHD can't be treated with Adderall because there would be some interactions with the medications.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll use like a sativa with like certain terpenes in it to and I'll smoke that like before I have class or before I try to write a paper. Because it does kind of help me focus in a little bit more. Doesn't feel like my brain is, running on a million different tracks.
See, I think these types of conversations are interesting and need to be heard because for those out there that don't understand the medical benefits of marijuana, one of the stereotypes is you'll be spaced out, you'll be shaggy or confused or what have you. But you're using it to clear your head.
Yes.
So I don't know. I talk about weed a lot on this program inadvertently.
Oh, I love it.
It's just such an important part of my life that more people need to be educated about it.
Absolutely. I tell everybody, I say I'm going to work in the cannabis industry until comedy pays the bills. So
I dig it. I dig it. That's not a bad industry to be working in either.
Yeah, I genuinely like it. Truly, I could not function without it today.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm right there with you. I don't know. It just, to me, and this might sound weird, it stops the flashbacks from happening. Like, if I don't have marijuana, I'd start getting crazy flashbacks, and to the point where it's like,
oh my gosh,
I can't function.
Yeah, well, that's how my panic attacks would be. And I mean, I'm taking a lot less Klonopin than I used to.
Klonopin is horrible.
Yeah.
You know what? And there's people out there that might use it as a benefit. I've seen it used in horrible manners.
It's not a great thing to be taking.
It's a benzodiazepine, if I'm correct. I've seen people take a month's prescription in a week.
Yeah.
And those people don't know which end of their ass is up.
Yeah. And, truly, I was taking, honestly, when I was in college, easily 4 to 6 a week.
Oh, yeah.
And not batting an eye at it. And now I barely take it. And
yeah, I won't mess with benzos at all.
Yeah, it was kind of the only option I was really given.
Oh no,
for a while.
I dig it.
No, but it's one of those things, like, I wish somebody just would have mentioned it to me.
Well, it's so taboo, but someone should have came up, hey, smoke a joint.
Yeah.
Look, that's not it shouldn't be looked at anymore as like, oh, he's doing drugs.
I
don't
like,
you want some Tylenol?
Pretty much. I mean, a friend of mine who does not have a medical card but often partakes with me, was shame, obviously, was saying, I smoke probably an eighth a week. I was like,
lightweight.
I was like, oh, that's and he was like, I gotta cut down. And I was like, look, think about this. I was like, first off, way to attack my consumption levels. All right, fine, be that way. I was like, you know what? Think about this. What would you be drinking every night if you weren't smoking a bowl? And he was like, it's a good point. I was like, which one do you think is going to be better for you, long term?
Oh,
or
absolutely.
short-term?
Now, there's trouble with the actual smoking of the leaf.
Yeah.
Which in Pennsylvania, it's only legal to vaporize the leaf.
Yes.
But with the like they worry about cancer and carcinogens getting in, but there's so many other options now.
Oh yeah.
And you working at a dispensary, I mean, it's easier. Just lay it out a little bit. Tell us a little, about what we offer in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally really I use the vape cartridges a lot. So it's essentially I kind of describe it to people it's almost like a jewel pod. Oh yeah, you got one. There you go.
We have visuals, folks.
It's
we do the research on this podcast.
Oh yeah. I love my vape pen. I have at least 3 on me at all times. But it kind of the smell won't stick to things the way that smoke will.
Continue, but I literally just had this same conversation before you walked in the room.
I have this conversation with everybody. I'm like, it's not gonna stick around and hang in your house.
It's just a vapor.
Exactly. They'll make edibles. I mean, it's just like an RSO.
Yeah, that, and they have the pills.
Yeah, they do the little capsules.
I don't recommend, guys. I mean, if it works for you, I don't recommend it.
The little old ladies love them.
Yeah,
that
makes sense.
The little old ladies are a big fan. There's tinctures, so it's essentially like a THC in a solution that you'll put under your tongue.
I've had that. I've had the root beer extra strength one.
Yeah.
It's 33 milligrams a little vial.
There's a new blue Hawaiian one if you're interested.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds delicious.
Yeah. But I know a lot of people just will just still use a pipe
Oh yeah,
these
yeah,
days,
the
but
flower. They have topical creams too.
they do. I use the topical creams myself all the time because being an athlete,
Hmm.
I'll honestly take a shower and I'll put it like all over my back and just fall asleep because.
I have a question for you because I've never bought the creams
Mhm.
myself. Do you get a high effect from that?
I don't. I think maybe if you're somebody that just kind of sticks to like CBD
Hmm.
usually or something, you might
Okay.
feel a little something, but you'll be fine. You're not going to feel anything from it, but it really does, like, you do feel your muscles just start to relax a little bit.
Okay.
And it's like icy hot but not painful.
Okay. There was. We all got an icy hot story. You know.
Oh.
It-
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, when you're at cheer and you're sweating, but you're also breaking because they won't let you stop practicing.
I don't know what breaking means.
Uh I've seen girls, like, I'll tell you personally.
Like mentally breaking?
Hey, let me tell you, I've had so many people yell at me, and I have had so many broken noses on a cheer floor. I'm breaking every way.
Okay, that's fair. How many broken noses have you had?
8.
Wow, I've had 4.
Okay.
Yeah, you got me beat.
I wish I didn't.
This little scar right here,
Hmm.
I was pushed down the steps when I was a baby, and my nose was pretty much hanging off.
Oh my gosh.
This scar up here, I tried K2 in a halfway house and passed out on my face and almost died. Um, I got kneed in the face before, broke it. I got punched and broke it. It's miserable. I will say that.
Oh, it's rough.
It's
It is.
miserable.
It is not a good feeling. I once threw a girl like straight in the air, and I was, me and the 2 bases were supposed to catch her feet, and she slipped through the base's hands and literally stood on my nose, and it, obviously, like, just blood everywhere. It's so bad. The coach literally hands me 2 tampons and says, "Go in the bathroom, stick those up your nose. We got 3 more full outs to do tonight." And I said, "All right, sir, I will be right back."
All right. Because, I mean, the tampons are a great solution for a nosebleed. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, yes.
However, like, you lose a lot of blood.
You do.
It's not safe. I like it, though. I like it.
I will tell you, I do not approve of a lot of I'll say the leniency on competing with injuries and illness
Okay.
that is exhibited in all-star cheerleading. But I also think that it's the best life lessons you're ever going to get. So
Well,
I don't know which is
No, that's fair.
how they weigh out.
I know the world we live in.
Mhm.
You know, it's real cozy, soft, for lack of a better term, which is fine. You know, I love everybody. We all should be accepted. But I grew up hard. You
Yeah.
know, life was hard. I still am hard on myself like that. I don't expect everybody else to be, but I think those lessons are very beneficial.
I think they're fantastic.
Almost to play on your words, no better lesson than falling on your fucking face.
There's really not. And, like, I hate to say it, like, I never would have learned the amount of work ethic, discipline, time management, like, loyalty, working with other people. I don't think I would be half of the person that I am
You know
without
what?
it.
I just read an article, and I wasn't going to mention this. I just read an article online that was shared on Facebook about how hustle culture is, like, damaging to a stand-up comedian and all that, and how you need to self-care and how you need to take breaks, and it's not about putting in as many sets or getting on as many shows or all this jazz. And first off, this isn't directed at anyone specifically. You can go take your naps and fuck all that bullshit. I'm going to bust my ass until something happens.
Exactly. Like, that's kind of how I feel. I remember I started October 17th, 2019, and from then until the 13th of March, when everything got shut down, I did 104 sets total.
Okay.
Like, I enjoy, like, this is what I want to do. I have trouble not doing things 100%. I will be honest.
No, I dig it before the big shutdown. Like, my life's completely different now.
Oh, yeah.
But I was waking up at 5 a.m., driving an hour to work, working all day, going to a mic at night. If I got home before midnight, it was an early night. Literally
Right.
6 days a week.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it because it was fulfilling. It was gratifying to grow. So, like I said, not directed at anybody. Go take your naps. Go do whatever you got to do to feel good about yourself. I'm going to keep fucking working.
Yeah, I have a problem with like sitting still.
You know what? I'm sorry to hijack this and get on my soapbox again. I haven't been worried about money for a while because I fucking hustle. Because I don't worry about, my mental health is deteriorating. I need to go lay down. You know what needs to lay down? The fucking rent. I got to pay my bills before I can worry about self-care. So, like I said, not directed at anybody. Go take that lazy shit and shove it up your ass.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely I think that everybody needs a little more tough love. And I think that All-Star Cheerleading honestly was the most comprehensive form of tough love.
What I like about cheerleading is the image you get from cheerleading, clean cut, usually pretty girls, if I'm using a stereotype. I say that because there's guys involved too. Like, clean cut, blah, blah, blah. But you don't realize behind the scenes, these girls are like football players. Working, fighting, getting through it, and then competing. It's tougher than I ever thought.
I honestly, I've seen a whole stunt group come down on one girl, and I've, and I hate to say it, shit happens. Like,
Yeah.
This is what you're signing up for, and I completely understand that it's not for everybody. It is absolutely by no means for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
I like that. That showed more confidence and more. That was the braggiest thing you've said all episode because I felt your energy, what you were saying.
It's really not meant to be braggy.
I'll say it since she won't say it. You bitches ain't fucking with her.
It's
No,
not,
I'm just playing, guys.
It's one of those things like, I don't know a lot of people that could take a foot to the face and then go keep flipping and throwing
Absolutely.
somebody. It truly was the one thing that also taught me appropriate self-confidence, I believe. I was always extremely hard on myself, but cheerleading was one of the few things that I always felt really self-assured in what I was doing and kind of saying, no, you can look at the track record. I put in more hours at the gym than you did, and I've been working harder than you have. And there's a reason that I'm doing better than you are.
Hustle culture is killing cheerleading.
Yeah, kind of I hate to say it. And that was something that I was kind of able to start to kind of look at other aspects of my life a little better.
You know what? Let me ask you this because you mentioned in the intro your accolades. Can you tell me some of those? I don't know, what the appropriate championships and whatnot are.
Yeah. So the big one is you want to make it onto a world's team is kind of your first step. So when the tryout season comes around, everybody makes a team, but it does depend, kind of what level and age group you end up on. But they do make it very clear that, kind of that's like your first step, and you have to really prove that you're good enough to do that. But the big one is getting an invite to the World Championships.
Now, is that individual or is that like your team gets an invite?
Your team gets the invite. And those are in Disney World.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah, so my team got a bid a couple weeks ago, so we're going to first week of May.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you.
First time there? Or have you done this before?
This will be my third time there.
Okay. What's your team name, by the way?
My team is Fire and Ice All-Stars. That's
Fire and Ice All-Stars. Shout out to the Fire and Ice All-Stars.
I know. I'm going to have to send them this. They'll love it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And send me something when you guys are competing. I'll make sure to share it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and then my team, we're open, non-tumble level 6. So it's essentially a bunch of older kids that really are tired of flipping themselves over and just want to do the stunts.
Okay.
I will be honest, it's honestly me and a lot of the kids I cheered with in elementary and middle school. And then obviously, some new faces, but it's kind of us just getting together, having a good time. Our coaches have known us forever. We have fun, but we also work really hard. We have a really good kind of working relationship, but it's a much more relaxed kind of take to that Worlds team, and it's kind of designed to be a much more relaxed take on that kind of on that level of team.
Yeah.
When you're in high school, or if you're specifically going to like, there are like some crazy popular gyms with like these crazy teams or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you're going there or you're still in high school, it's a little bit more. You're not going to be doing this as a career unless you're going to become a coach and more likely a program owner. You're going to actually start your own team.
Well, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So you're essentially doing this as a partial career? Like you coach?
Yeah.
Okay. You're doing that. You work at a dispensary. You're doing stand-up comedy. You're studying marketing. What do you want to do with your life? Does any of this all tie together?
I sure to heck hope so.
It's a good answer.
I definitely want to work in the cannabis industry until comedy pays the bills. I truly do. Like, comedy's kind of the end goal. Like,
Okay.
that's like the first time I did a set, I was like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
So where does the marketing come into play then?
I will be honest, I think my dad may have just really wanted to be like, oh, my kid's still normal, I'll send her to college. And
Okay.
so I'll be honest, I'm kind of just wrapping it up because I've put a lot of work into it. And it's obviously a good thing to have.
Yeah.
you know.
No, definitely.
I'll be honest, I'm so done with it. I'm ready to just, I'm just so ready to be done. I'll be done in December, so I'm excited.
Congrats.
Thank you. But, possibly work in a marketing position at a dispensary, especially it's supposed to become legal here pretty soon.
Yeah, since you work in the industry, has there been more? I know Wolf's been pushing it a lot on his social media,
Yeah.
and Fetterman's always been a supporter. Any whispers about the legalization of recreational marijuana in Pennsylvania?
Sure. So I know that Wolf has really been pushing it, and that is something that a lot of the dispensary owners, like the owners of where I work, do a lot of lobbying, and
They want it to go recreational.
they want
legal.
it to go recreational because if it goes recreational, it's more accessible.
Prices
B,
got to drop.
It's cheap.
Oh my God, prices got to drop because PA, you need to get your shit together with prices.
We have one of the priciest markets in the country, and we have some of the best growers in the country.
Yeah, there was some 38% flour at a Rise dispensary recently. And you know what? I will say, as shitty as priced we are, New Jersey, which is newer, is worse.
Yes.
And when I checked, when Chicago went legal, it was worse.
Chicago did a horrible job planning their recreational opening.
Shout out to Michigan. Shout out to Nevada.
Michigan did a great job.
Michigan did a phenomenal job. Shout out to Nevada. Shout out to Denver. Many places do a phenomenal job. Texas, you need to get your life together too.
Texas is a shit show,
Well,
and I am
They have
pissed.
legal medical down there, but
it's
so difficult to get your medical card. And then on top of that, the medical marijuana, I wouldn't pay for that.
No, it's like
5%.
It's something stupid, and I think there's like 3 qualifying conditions. It's such a joke of a program down there.
I may have told this story on here before, but when I went to get my medical card, just one night I had some money, and I was like, well, let me see if it's anything like California. You always heard about the stories. Just go in, tell them. So I seen this thing for a medical marijuana card. I put in my email and phone number. I got a call about 10 minutes later. This was 10:30 at night from the doctor. The doctor. And he set me up the next day. I walked in. I said, hi, I'm Johnny Smith. I'm here for my interview. He pulled me in for an x-ray. Within 30 seconds, had it printed out and said, yep, your neck's too straight. That's why you're getting migraines. Here's your card. Pay the lady at the desk. Whoa. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh. When did you get your card?
May.
Okay. I got mine about 2 years ago now.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it was a fucking mess.
Oh, that's why I waited so long.
It was awful. I had to go to this doctor. They made me print out my medical records, even though they could get them on the UPMC computers, which I couldn't believe. I had to bring like my birth certificate, my social security card, like And then the doctor like made me sit there for 45 minutes and get lectured on like how it was dangerous.
Oh, let me do you one. Because that was the referral.
Mhm.
And then I had to visit a doctor to get
Mhm.
them to sign off.
Right.
But since it was during COVID, it was
Mhm.
over the phone. And they asked me, blah, 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 have you tried this? Have you done this? Yep, don't like it, don't want to do it. Okay, here you go. Pay
Mhm.
the state, and you'll get yours in, a week or whatever.
Exactly.
But so when you got it, it was running, jumping through hoops, and
That was 2 years ago too,
Mhm.
so like I know that the program has grown exponentially since then.
oh yeah,
But I remember it was such a hoopla for me to get it. But I got my card renewed like 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
I called the doctor like on my drive into work. He called me like 15 minutes later, said, "Yeah, you've been a patient. I'll just do your recertification now. Still working for you? You working at a dispensary? Cool. Just send patients my way. Have fun."
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
And I said, "That's how it should be." My gosh, like
Yeah, you know what? I don't even want to get into it about why it's illegal.
makes my blood boil.
But it's nonsense. It's bullshit from the get-go. And I get it. Those people that don't use marijuana, that's fine. The people that are anti-pot, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like nobody's saying you have to use it.
If you smoke marinara, you can delete me. Go fuck yourself. um, wow. So let me real quick. I just want to say this episode is sponsored by Tenacious Detail, your mobile detailing solution for the Pittsburgh and surrounding area. We know it's cold out now. April Fools. It snowed. You don't want to go sit in a lobby or a waiting room somewhere. That's why we bring the detailing to you. Have your car taken care of in the comfort of your home or office. Give us a call at 724-498-9942 to schedule your appointment, or check us out on Facebook.com/TenaciousDetailPGH. And if you get a chance to check out my other podcast with Dan Brady, Murderous States of Mind, this week we went over the last call killer, who was a man from New Jersey, targeted homosexual men, caught him up, dismembered him, actually never spoke about his crimes. He's still alive today.
That's
Episode
a really
out
good
now.
story.
Yeah, it's out now
I'm
on
a
all
true
streaming
crime
platforms.
fan, so
Okay.
I am. I will be tuning.
Yeah,
into
with
that.
Murderous States of Mind, we're going across the states by order of statehood and just
Yeah.
going through all the serial killers.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's been a fun time.
Hey, you ever want a guest on that? I can talk about murder for hours.
Definitely. Check that out, guys. Available on all streaming platforms. By the way, where can we find you? Where's your social media? Where can
Sure.
people contact you?
So, Twitter and Instagram is Lizzie_Martins. That's with 2 underscores, though. There's a lot of Elizabeth Martins out there in the world.
Okay.
I will actually be on a show at Parkway Theater this Saturday, April 3rd. I know it's supposed to be a pretty good lineup, and hey, Parkway's always a good time. Come support comedy.
Yeah, support live comedy. Unfortunately, this is coming out on the 4th.
Oh, whoops.
You know what? Hey, I got a
It's
show.
probably on Facebook. Watch it anyway.
I got a show on Saturday, guys. You can invent a time machine and check me out.
You know what? I'll post it on Facebook. Make me popular.
What can they reach out to you about? Because you're a wealth of knowledge. Cheerleading,
Absolutely.
comedy bookings.
Hey, if you want to book me, let me tell you, sometimes I'm a little funnier than I think I am.
Medical marijuana questions.
Absolutely. You want to come visit me at the Healing Center in Monroeville? I'm working the admissions desk.
Now, usually I like to ask someone for advice,
Mhm.
but it's a very specific advice. If it's an actress, I want to know how they broke into the acting industry. If it's a model, same thing. With you, you seem to be very successful in the things you've approached. What just general advice would you give to anybody out there listening who wants to start something?
I think positivity is going to be the biggest thing. I spent a lot of time being very angry about kind of where my life was at.
Mhm.
And it's honestly just kind of, I'm not saying things aren't hard. There are days where I want to like put my head through a wall and, or just drive off a bridge, it's rough. But I think just keeping that smile on your face. I think just kind of making sure you approach everything with some level of positivity. I think that's kind of what it comes down to, at least for me. So.
Okay. So older cheerleaders reach out to you.
Hey, you want to come? We have like Bring a Buddy Day. come check out our team.
Okay, guys,
Johnny
tune in.
Smith will be there.
Tune in. I'll be there at some point in the future, and I mean that.
I can't wait.
My word is my bond.
I'm excited.
Oh God, I'm nervous.
Should we make Cuba come learn how to cheer too?
Absolutely, we can bring Cuba. We can bring whoever, just as long as I'm not the one being like if there's more than one awkward dude there, I won't have all the attention.
You know what? We'll make it fun.
We'll make it awkward dude day.
Yeah.
I was gonna start talking shit because that's my normal. I was gonna say half of these dudes are bitches, anyways.
You know what? Well, you can prove them wrong.
Well, anyways, again, happy Easter, happy Passover, happy Sunday, guys. Check us out. Follow us on social media. Like, share, subscribe, all that bullshit. Check out Liz Martin. Liz, thank you so much for coming on the program today.
This was such a pleasure. Honestly, the most fun podcast I've ever done.
Oh boy,
So,
thank you. I appreciate
pleasure.
that. No, you provided a lot of information, especially stuff I don't know about. If you can't tell, I'm an inquisitive guy.
I'm very inquisitive. I love the premise of the show. I think you do a fantastic job. You are an amazing host. I just want to tell you do a fantastic job kind of steering the conversation. This was a joy.
Well, guys, that's how you make a fat man smile. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Liz. Thank you, Todd. Check us all next week or whenever. We'll be releasing more episodes this month. Bunch of them. Oodles of fucking episodes. Have a good day.
Bye.